welcome to today's episode. We have a guest. Introduce yourself.
My name is Ranganai Makoni, also business development specialist here at Carrick. It's a pleasure to be here on your show today.
Okay, so let's get started. What are we talking about today?
So is that directed to me?
That's directed to you.
So basically I want to talk about how, as a young professional, how you achieve the capacity to become an offshore investor.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure most of you have heard, everyone who's gained an interest or has Googled on how to invest, you've seen big crazy figures like, where would I even find the money to make these investments? But it turns out that it's actually more about discipline and not the amount of money that you make.
Okay.
So my first point being that saving discipline. A key principle of mine is never let your expenses exceed your costs.
Okay.
And I'm sure you've heard that many times before, but that's the trap we have as young professionals, is we always aim to keep our expenses under our income. So, but at the same time, you find that every time your income increases, your expenses seem to keep tracking your income. You get a pay rise, suddenly you go out more, you're buying clothes, or and that's eating away at your savings culture, which is something we need to now address as young professionals.
Okay. So with that said, what is the minimum capacity for any individual to start an investment or to start investing? Let's say I am my age 24 and
Yes.
I want to start saving, or I have savings. How much do I need for me to qualify as a potential investor?
Okay, so here at Carrick, to become an investor, you need a minimum capacity to be able to comfortably save $1,000 a month.
Okay. And Trimo, what do you have to share with the viewers in terms of saving?
I like the topic which Rangana introduced today, so as part of the rule of thumb of saving, to start with, you might want to at least save a tenth of your income as you build up to reaching that minimum, which would actually require you to then invest with us here at Carrick. So you can start with a tenth of your income, and it depends if you want to put it into a savings account or if you want to have it stashed somewhere where it then grows. Because imagine if you're earning, let's say, $1,000 and then you're saving $100 every month. After 12 months, you have 1.2, and then it then has a ripple effect into the next year. After 24 months, you have actually 2.4. So it just means you saving your tenth, and at least you're being disciplined, like what Rangana was saying. And then after that, then you can then start learning then how to invest, because it's not like a given that anyone can know how to invest. You need to learn how to invest.
So quick question, guys, are you practicing what you're preaching?
So yes, I am practicing what I'm preaching, because before I started working at Carrick, I was working in an administration job. Back then, because obviously I had no qualifications and it was like a holiday job, it would give me $200 a month. Started off as $100 a month. Okay, they're paying me like $100 a month to do admin work. And you'd find that every time I got that $100, by the end of the next month, I'm already anticipating my next $100 because I'm at $0. My salary over the month then went up to $200. And funny enough, at the end of that month, I would be looking forward to that next $200 because I've already used that $200. So the savings discipline obviously comes from you making sacrifices. Because initially I was living off $100, right? Meaning when that salary then increased to $200, obviously I could have kept my expenses within that $100, and suddenly I have $100 surplus going to my savings. You understand? So it comes from little things like, you don't have to, when your salary goes up, you don't have to move into a 5-bedroom home as a young professional, You're very comfortable living in your bachelor pad. You don't have to eat 6 times a day when you only could eat 3 times a day, and you're fine eating 3 times a day. Suddenly you're eating 6 times a day. So it's those little things, and discipline in those little areas that will allow you to save money. And then that savings culture will then grow with you as an individual. Suddenly, when you're in your 30s or your 40s and you're a mature professional, now you're making $12,000 a month. Obviously, because you've grown that culture over the years, it'll be easy for you to save and have a surplus of $3,000. And from $3,000, look at that. Now you can afford that minimum requirement of $1,000 comfortably. Because I mean, if you've got $3,000 surplus, $1,000, putting aside $1,000 to a saving plan won't be as taxing as it would have been had you had $12,000 and your expenses are $11,000, and you know you're left with $1,000 surplus. So it's not comfortable anymore. That so it's just generating that savings culture from a young age, because if you can't save $100 today when you've got $12,000, there's no way you're suddenly going to be able to miraculously going to be able to manage $12,000 later.
Definitely. And Trimo, how have you been practicing the same?